Welcome, Mindsetters. We are here. It's a Thursday. We're eager to learn. And, of course, you are here at Learn Extra Live. Today, we are doing mathematical literacy from grades 10 to 12, revision. You're here with me, your host / presenter, Megan, and, of course, our fabulous teacher, Mr. Peter. How have you been?
Megan, I've been absolutely fantastic, thank you very much. And I'm even better today because it's Thursday. And like Ibrahim, who's one of our guys who works in the back here, says, Thursday means it's quarter to Friday.
No.
Now, what can be better than a Friday?
I know. It's almost time, guys, but I want to tell you the show is proudly sponsored by Macmillan. Let's not forget. And we've been speaking to you about it the whole week, so I'm just going to quickly just give a short little thing about what it actually is that I'm talking about. So I'm sure you know that Samsung have partnered with us at Mindset Studios here and about to show you what it is. They've introduced a learning hub, basically available for all premium smartphones and, of course, Samsung tablets. Can you see? Wow. So basically, you access notes. It's all the revision we've done here at the Mindset Studios, all books that you can get. You watch the video here on your left. And of course, you get the notes on your right, and practice makes perfect. We all know that. So basically, it is innovation, proudly here with our beautiful books here. There's the store, here's the hub, and obviously it's available and accessible for all of you that have Samsung tablets or premium smartphones. Let me just tell you quickly, you get a 100 Rand voucher as you subscribe, and please use that voucher to the maximum capacity as you register for the Learning Hub application. And of course, let me not forget to tell you that innovation has brought with technology, and thank you, Samsung, for proudly sponsoring this beautiful application here at the Mindset Studio. So I'm not going to linger on it too much, guys. You've heard about it during the week. Pop me a question on Facebook, facebook.com/LearnExtra, Twitter @LearnExtra, or download these note revisions at mindset.co.za/LearnExtra with an X. You think I did a good job, Mr. Peter?
Yeah, I think you explained it well. Of course, I have no idea what she's talking about, because being over the age of 24, I kind of miss out on all that technology.
Okay, but
so I'm going to stick to what I know best, and that's teaching a little bit of mathematical literacy.
okay,
All right.
all right, we start with you. Let's go.
All right. Okay, folks, so right now we're back into the 4th term. If you're out there in the government schools, if you're out in the private schools, you're into the 3rd term. Either way, matrics, your time at school is drawing to an end. And all the information that your teachers have given you, all the work they've made you do, all the notes they've made you take, it now all comes down to your final examination. And guys, from a mathematical literacy point of view, in fact, even from a maths core point of view, and a science and an accounting, in fact, from any point of view, right now you should really be focusing on doing past papers, okay? And you should be taking a paper, and I've said this to my boys, they've got 7 subjects, in fact 6, because LO, we don't write an exam at the end of the year. But you've got 6 subjects, and we've got 7 days, right? Every single day, you should be doing at least 1 exam paper per subject. So on Monday, you might say, I'm going to be doing an accountancy paper. On Tuesday, I'm going to do a 3-hour English paper. On Wednesday, I'm going to do a 3-hour geography paper. On Thursday, because Thursday is Maths Lit Day here with us, eh? So Thursday, I'm going to do a Maths Lit paper for 3 hours. Guys, that's how you should be spending your time right now if you're in matric. Grade 11s, if you're watching, let me tell you this. You should also slowly be looking at getting last year's past papers, all the grade 11 past papers. And you should be going to your teachers saying, please, can I have a paper? I want to do some practice. I want to know what kind of questions could be coming up at the end of the year. And I want to master certain techniques. So what we're going to do today is we are going to look at paper 1. And we've taken the prelim paper that was set by the Eastern Cape, and we're going to go through that paper very carefully. Whatever we don't finish today, okay, because we always seem to run out of time. Our hour just flies by. So whatever we don't finish today, here's the great news. We're going to meet again on Saturday. I think it's Saturday, hey?
Saturday, exam revision.
Saturday, exam revision, maths literacy from 1:30 to 3 o'clock. So whatever we don't finish today, we're going to carry on again on Saturday.
That means you're with me on Saturday. Do you know that?
Sorry, back with you again.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Yeah.
So we're all working double shift.
Yeah.
Then, next week, folk, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing again another past paper, but this time we're going to be looking at a paper 2 type of paper. And then we'll carry on with it on that following Saturday as well. Okay? So, lots of time to do work, and today it's all about paper 1. Now, because it's paper 1, our first reaction is to say the following. Paper 1, that's the easy paper. I don't need to focus on it. Now, I tell my boys in my class straight. Paper 1 is as important as paper 2 is. It's as important to revise paper 1 as what it is to revise paper 2. And the reason for that is this. For paper 1, the higher the mark you can get for paper 1, right? It just eases the pressure for that paper 2. So, let's say I'm going to get an 80% at the end of the year, or I want to get 80% at the end of the year. If I can get 90% for paper 1, you know what that means? That means I can get 70% for paper 2, which gives me an average of 80%. But if I only get 80% for paper 1, then I've got to get 80% for paper 2, which is a lot more difficult to get. So guys, you've got to focus on that paper 1. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, it's paper 1, it's easy, don't worry about learning. You've got to learn it. And paper 1 is the paper where people tend to make careless mistakes. Paper 1 is the paper where your markers at the end of the year take off marks for silly little things, like incorrect rounding, like forgetting to put the R sign when you're dealing with rands and cents, okay? Like forgetting to put the percentage sign when they ask you for a certain percentage. So, guys, it's easy to lose marks in paper 1. So we've got to master that the whole time, right? So we've got to practice, practice, practice. And I'm talking. Let's get on with practice. Okay, so our very first question which has come up, and in this lesson you can see I've already told us we're revising questions from the Eastern Cape Prelim 2013 paper 1. Now our very first question on the screen that you actually see is a huge calculation, right? And with that calculation, we are going to simply use our calculator. Now that sounds like straightforward, simple, easy, anyone can do. But it's amazing how many matrics at the end of the year get these questions wrong. So let's have a look and let's see how we're going to do it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is bring up my calculator. Why? Because my brain's not big enough or good enough to do all this mentally. Now, we've got 65%. Now, folk, I like to say, whenever I see the word or the sign percentage, to put it over 100, okay? I don't like to use that percent button on my calculator. That's just a personal thing. Why? Because calculators, depending which one you use, sometimes it does weird and wonderful things. So whenever I see 65%, I'm going to change that straight away and say, you know what? That means 65 over 100. And the word of means times. So we've already got 65 over 100 times 580. Okay, well let's do this on our calculator. On our calculator, we are going to say, right, fraction button. Okay, 65 over 100. Oops, let's just go here. 65 over 100. Okay, and we've got a different type of calculator here today. Multiply that by, what's it, 580. And my answer is 377. So the answer to this first part here is 377. Plus, I want a quarter of, and now I'm going to add up those figures. Okay? So we're going to say the following, and I'm moving my calculator across this side so we can see these figures. I'm going to say 247.68 plus 3,246.32 equals, and I get 3,494. 3,494. Now we want a quarter of that. So we've got this figure on, and we're going to say multiply that by a quarter. So multiply it by a quarter, 1/4 equals, and I'm going to land up with this answer of 873,5. 873,5. To that, I've now got to add this 377. So we've got that plus 377, and there's my answer. It's going to be 1,250,5. 1,250,5. Okay. Now I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there thinking, hey, hold on, Pete. Can't we do this in one step? Why must we show the different stages or the different steps? Well, guys, the truth is this. There's nothing to stop you from doing it all in one step. So I could take my calculator and say 65 over 100 times 580 plus a quarter bracket 243,68 plus 3,246,32 close brackets equals, and it'll give me my answer of 1,250,5. There's nothing to stop you from doing that at all. Okay, but here is my warning, and listen carefully to this. Right. We know how to do this question. It's straightforward. It's simple. But it's just as easy to make a mistake with it. So what I always say to my guys is this. At the end of your exam, okay, in fact, let me show you here. Let's say we've got the following questions. I'm just going to try and extend this page. Let's say I've got question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5. Okay, that's my exam paper. Only 5 little questions. All right, let's just pretend. I know you get a lot more, but we're just pretending. Let's say I know how to do question 1. That was easy. Everyone knows how to do it. Question 2, well, I think I kind of knew how to do it, but it was a little bit tough, but I think I got it. Question 3, I had no idea. Didn't know what I was doing. Okay, it made no sense to me whatsoever. Question 4, hey, that was so easy. I just creamed that one. It was just like, woo, way to go. Okay? And question 5 is like, not too sure what was going on. Okay? But I think I got it. So question 1 and 4 were easy. Question 2 and 5 were kind of difficult. And question 3 I just left out. I didn't know what to do. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something which I think every teacher in the country will disagree with, okay? But I tell this to my boys every single year. And I say boys because I teach at a boys' school, right? But when I taught at a co-ed school, I'd say this to my boys and girls. And this is it. When you look at all this, and I'm going to ask Megan for the answer here. Right? So
no.
Megan, here we go.
Okay.
If you had done these 5 questions, and remember, you know how to do question 1 and question 4, okay, was easy.
Yeah.
Question 2 and 5, you attempted it and you think you got some of it, right? Question 3, you were clueless. You left it blank, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Comes to the end of the exam. Megan,
Yes.
which one are you going to go back and attempt?
Definitely either 3.
You're going to go back and do 3.
Yeah, I would say 2. I wouldn't say 2 or 5 because you tried it and whatnot, but don't ever leave your exam paper question empty. Don't leave the question empty.
I'm going to contradict what you said.
No.
Okay, listen carefully. If I know how to do question 1 and question 4, I'm guaranteed those marks. The only reason I won't get those marks is if I've made a careless mistake. Okay? So, I'm going to go back and say, I know I've definitely got those marks. Let me double check. Yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. Guaranteed them. How sad it is when you think, oh, that's so easy, and you've made a silly mistake and you actually get the question wrong. So here are things that you were guaranteed of marks, but because you said 2 plus 3 instead of 2 plus 4, you've lost all those marks. Okay, so my advice, and you don't have to accept it if you don't want to, but my advice to my students is always, when you finished exam, just check the ones that you thought were so easy. Because you know you got those marks, it would be a sin to lose them because you made a careless mistake. Then I'd go back and I would double check number 2 and double check number 5. And finally, I would go back and do number 3. Think of tests and exams that you've written, folk, where you've written a test, you've written an exam, and you've got to a question you didn't know how to do it. And so at the end of the test or exam, you go back to this question that you had no idea how to do. And you spend forever and forever and forever and forever trying to get it right. And at the end of it, you still get 0 marks, or you might only get 1 or 2 marks. And then think of the times you've gone through your tests and you've said, I knew how to do this. Oh, I made such a silly mistake. What a waste of marks. Okay? So that's just my personal gut feel and all the rest. Obviously, once I've checked all that, guys, then I'm going to go back and definitely attempt question 3. And like I was, and like Megan was saying, guys, at the end of the paper, don't leave anything blank. Because if you leave a question blank, we cannot mark it. There is nothing to mark. But if you've made an attempt at a question, if you've tried a question, okay, then the markers at the end of the year can at least look through all this humble jumble and maybe pick up a mark here or pick up a mark there and say, you know, this question is totally wrong. But this kid kind of knew he had to change meters to centimeters. Let's give him a mark for that. Okay? The rest of it's wrong, but at least he's picked up a mark. But if you leave something totally blank, well, there's nothing to look at. You can't possibly.
See, so I was like a little bit right.
So you were a little bit right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're very proud of you. Okay?
Thank you, Peter. Thanks.
And we'll put you more in the limelight now, Megan, and say it's time to
break time. Break time. Okay. I see what we're doing. Okay. Well, mindsetters, go for a quick break, run, get a glass of water, and we'll be right back after the ad break. Welcome back, Mindsetters. Hope you had a good break. But now you guys are ready to get into the zone and do some maths literacy revision because Peter has a good lineup for you and he's already covered one question. So we are now on to question 1.2.
I know. How scary is that, hey, folk? It took us 15 minutes to go through one. But, folk, the information I was giving to you before the ad break was absolutely crucial. You know, exam technique is so important. It really is. And remember what I've always said to you, and I've said this for months and months and months. Guys, a question is not a question unless there's a mark allocation, because that mark allocation is going to guide you as to how much work is involved with that question. Right, next question. Convert 5,75 kilograms into grams. Okay, so we've got something here called kilograms, we've got grams, and we've got milligrams. Okay, and the jump between kilograms and grams and milligrams is going to be 1,000 each time, right? So 1,000 is the jump. Now, obviously, guys, grams are much smaller. So we're going to have a lot of grams in a kilogram. So if I were to take 5,75 kilograms, I know the jump from kilograms to grams is 1,000. And we know there are more grams than in a kilogram. So we're going to multiply it by 1,000. Okay. Now I know you can do this in your head, okay? Because you're intelligent, you're in grade 12, you know how to do this. But when I write my exam at the end of the year, I'm going to be so nervous that the chances are I could make a mistake. So I'm going to go back and use the good old calculator and say, right, we've got 5.75. We're going to multiply that by 1,000, and our answer there is 5,750. What? Because if I don't put that unit down, folk, I'm going to lose a mark. We said convert it to grams, so my answer is 5,750 grams. Guys, I knew it wasn't a lot of work. Why? Because it was only worth 1 mark. Let's move on to our next question. Now, in our next question, we told this. Write 2,453,000 in scientific notation. Now, it's amazing how many people forget about scientific notation, right? And I've noticed from past papers and looking at prelim papers and looking at July exam papers that this kind of question is creeping in quite a bit. So how do we change something to scientific notation? Okay, the very word scientific sounds kind of complicated, doesn't it? And so we know scientific notation means times 10 to the something, right? And what we're going to do is first of all say this number, it's a big number. And because it's a big number, I know it's going to be times 10 to the plus of something, okay? Oops, my plus is going all wrong here. Let's try that again. Okay, now my boys, I gave them this very question today, and they said to me, hey, do we have to put a plus? No, you don't have to put a plus at all, all right? Not at all. But I'm just putting it there so I remember that I'm dealing with a big number. Okay, now, I'm going to write this number, 2,453,000, with a number only 1 digit before the comma. So I've got 2,453 times 10 to the something. Now watch carefully. We're going to change color. Let's go yellow. And I'm going to say this. Here's my decimal place. It's going to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decimal places. Okay? So it's 2,453 times 10 to the positive 6, or just times 10 to the 6. Do you see how it works? I'm going to give us another example. I know this is not in here, but let's look at it. Let's say I said this. We've got 0,000021. And we say to you, write that as scientific notation. Well, scientific notation means we've got times 10 to the something. So I've got times 10 to the something. Now, guys, 0,0000021. Is that a big number or a small number? It's a small number. So we're going to say it's a tiny little number, and we put a minus there. Now remember, 1 digit before the comma. So I've got 2, 1. Times 10 to the what? Let's change again to another color. Now, the commas here, it's going to jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So it's 2, 1 times 10 to the negative 5. Guys, a basic little concept, but one you have to know for exams. Okay, moving on. Our next question. Hopefully we'll be moving on. Yes, here we are. Okay, let's just get rid of that. It's amazing how these things jump up out of nowhere. Okay, so our next question is this. Calculate cube root of 64 plus the square root of 121 minus 3 squared. Okay, again, folk, we can do this two ways, hey? We can do this by putting it all in our calculator, or we can play it safe and do little bits at a time. Because if we do little bits at a time and we mess up the final answer, because it's for 2 marks, we might just pick up 1 mark. Okay, so here we go. We're going to say, right, on my calculator, let's bring it out, we've got the cube root. Now remember, the cube root is going to be shift and then my square root button. Can you see on your screen, on your calculator, you've got a little 3 up there. And we're going to write in 64. Now we know the cube root of 64 is 4. Well, we didn't know that, but our calculator knew that. Okay, so equals 4 plus, now you probably know this one, but we're just going to go for this anyway, okay? The square root, let's clear our calculator, the square root of 121 is 11. So we've got plus 11 minus, now 3 squared, and I want to tell you this, hey, this is embarrassing. And I'm not going to mention this kid's name because I'll get into serious trouble. But I had a kid in my class today who said that 3 squared equals 6. And I said, how did you get 6? He said, it's easy. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay? Can you see how you make silly mistakes? So let the calculator do this. We're going to say, what is 3 squared? And our calculator tells us it's 9. And then with our calculator, we're going to say, all right, so we know that 4 plus 11 minus 9 equals, and we get an answer of 6. There it is, nice and perfect. Let's do it in one step and see if we get the same answer. So, here we go. Clearing our calculator, I'm going to say the cube root of 64 plus the square root of 121 minus 3 squared equals, and this is where I hold thumbs, eh? Because I'm going to look like a real silly nana if this doesn't work out the same. So let's hope so.
Let's hope it
equals,
does.
voila, 6 it is. Okay, so can you see you can do it both ways? And like I always said earlier before the break, and like I say to my guys, that's one of the questions that you go back and you do it again, just to make sure you haven't made a careless mistake. Right, our next question. If 1 dozen cans of Coke cost 58 Rand and 20 cents, what is the cost of 1 can of Coke? Okay, let me repeat that. If 1 dozen cans of Coke cost. Okay, so I know I've got cans, and I know I've got the cost. Cool. Now, I've got 1 dozen cans. Last year, my top student, there was a question similar to this in the final paper last year. And last year, my top student, who was like getting 98, 99% for every test, for every exam, he was just phenomenal, okay? Came to me at the end of this exam and said to me, sir, I think I made a mistake, eh? And I said, what mistake did you make? He said, a dozen. I said there were 10 in a dozen. Oh my giddy aunt, I nearly dropped on a heart attack, okay? Because a dozen is 12. Can you see how we make easy, careless mistakes? So I know that 12 cans cost me 58 Rand and 20 cents. But I don't want the cost of 12 cans, I want 1 can. Now how did we get that 12 to become 1? We divided it by 12. And we're going to do the exact same thing this side. So up comes our calculator and we say, right, we've got the price of, what is the price? Let's move our calculator. Where did our calculator go? It just ran away totally. Okay, here we go. We've got the price of 58 Rand and 20 cents. We're going to divide that by 12, and we're getting an answer here of 97 over 20, which means absolutely nothing. So we push S to D, and we get 485. Okay? 4,85. For what 85? For Rand 85. Okay. That's a very cheap can of Coke, eh? Right, next question.
I think that was back in the day when you paid almost just 5 Rand for a Coke.
Back in the day.
Back in my day.
Oh my goodness, how old are you?
19?
19.
How do you not know this? You see,
Okay.
Peter and I just don't get personal in this. It's just
I was
all
telling a
business.
story to my guys, and we'll talk about this probably next week when we talk about inflation. But I was telling a story to my guys, was this, that on Sundays, I remember going to visit my gran and my grandpa, and every Sunday, my grandpa would give me 5 cents, okay? And he'd give it to me and say, tomorrow, go to the tuck shop. And with that 5 cents, I would go off to the tuck shop and buy a cold drink and a packet of chips. How scary is that?
Wow.
I don't know what's scary, the inflation or my age. I'm not sure. Let's get on with this before we get rude. Okay, this question coming up now throws people every single year. Okay, it always causes confusion. Look here. It takes 4 men 6 days to finish a job. Okay? They're going to build a boundary wall. So 4 men, they get together and they work. And they work for 6 days and the wall is finished. Right. Now the question is this. How long is it going to take 12 men to finish the job? Right. Now our natural instinct is to say 4 times 3 is 12, so 6 times 3 is 18, so we're going to get 18 days. But guys, now you've got to think about something called indirect proportion, which is a horrible word. It's mathematical, confuses the brain. But let's think about this logically. If 4 men take 6 days, 12 men are going to take a much shorter time to do the work. Well, hopefully, if they don't talk all the time, right? Here's a question. If 4 men take 6 days, how long will it take 1 man to do that job? Well, 4 men, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they each take 6 days, or 6 days to do that job, okay? So 1 man, if he had to do the work for all 4 of those people, it's going to take him, 6 4s are 24 days to do the job. If there are 12 people doing the job, it's going to take a 12th of the time. And 24 divided by 12 is 2. So, if there are 12 people building this wall, it should take us no more than 2 days. Right, we got 50 seconds. Let's try and get on with another question. Right, here we go. Your parents spend, if your parents spend of their quarter salary on rent, 2/5 on food, what fraction of their income is spent on other things? Okay? How much salary do your parents get in the form of a fraction? They get their whole salary, right? So they're getting 1, if we had to write it as a fraction. 1 over 1, which is 1. We are going to take away a quarter of their salary for rent. We're going to take away another 2/5 of their salary for food. How much of their salary is left over? And guys, I'm going to use a calculator to do this again because my brain is just very tired on this Thursday afternoon. Okay, so here we go. We've got 1 minus fraction button 1 over 4, okay, then minus fraction button 2 over 5 equals, and my answer is 7 over 20. 7 over 20. So he's got 7/20 of their salary left to spend on other things.
Ready. Okay, mindsetters, cue to take a break, but don't forget, we'll be back with more revision right afterwards. Welcome back, Mindsetters. It's Thursday. I know you guys are tired from the week, but let's get into exam revision. Before Mr. Peter takes over from me, I just need to tell you about a very important thing that we have going this Saturday. So I know you guys want to do well in your exams. I know how important they are to you because they were so important to me just last year. I know. Seems like ages ago. But let me tell you, exam revision, guys, it's on Saturday. Peter and I will be here. Actually, we just figured it out. We're going to be here on Saturday doing maths, literacy revision, more prelims, more exam papers revision. I promise you, it is worth every second. So you have nothing to do on a Saturday, or you should actually book out your Saturday to do this revision, I think. Matrix, just saying. But anyway, download the notes. It is at mindset.co.za/learn extra. Don't forget, please post your questions, post your notes. Not notes. Post your questions, post anything that you need. The notes are available for you. And guys, keep talking to me because I'm on the page now, which is facebook.com/learn extra. Okay, now I'm done.
Right, and I believe someone even posted a picture of themselves doing maths literacy.
Yes, I told them, actually, I said, if you are doing maths revision or maths literacy revision, I said, could you please post a picture of you actually doing it? And safe to say, Kaletso Sakile, thank you so much. He says, I am now practicing maths literacy, and he is in grade 11 with his little calculator and book. So, big 2 thumbs up to you, Kaletso.
Right, Kaletso, and I'm very chuffed that you're in grade 11 and you're watching this show, because a lot of this stuff we do in paper 1, you'll see at the end of your grade 11 year. So well done. Keep going. Okay, now, if they're combined income, remember we were looking at parents earning some money and they spent a quarter of their money on rent and 2/5 of their money on food. And now the next question says this. If their combined income is 26,560 Rand, calculate the following. The amount spent on rent every month. Okay, so we know that a quarter of their money was spent on rent. So we're going to say, well, what is a quarter of? And mathematically of means times. So a quarter of 26,560 Rand. Okay, so out comes our calculator, and we're going to do it with our calculator and say fraction button 1/4, multiply that by 26,560 equals, and it's 6,640. 6,640 Rand. Okay, next question. How much is spent on food every month? Well, we were told that 2/5 of it is spent on food. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to say 2/5 of my salary, which is 26,560 Rand. Sure, must be nice to have a salary like that. Okay, out comes the calculator again, and we say, clear our calculator, 2/5 of means times, and we've got 26,560 equals 10,624. 10,624. Sure, this family likes to eat, clearly, eh? You're spending more money on food than rent here. You're like,
Probably
kind of
sounds
like
like
must be my
my
family. Yeah, you can't. Okay, let's move on, because we could be getting rude again. Right, so here we go. Name 2 items that could be included under other things that your parents could spend money on every month. Okay. Let's see if Megan's been focusing and concentrating. Megan, what kind of things could we spend money on besides food and rent?
Lots of things.
Like, give me 2 examples.
What we could spend money on?
Yeah.
Clothing.
I knew she was going to say clothing. Why is it that women always say clothing? But you're absolutely right. Clothing. What else?
I'm just saying, activities like going to the movies.
Like going to the movies. So, for example, entertainment. Airtime on your cell phone, absolutely. Maybe petrol, because maybe you've got to get to work on the occasion.
Or taxi fees.
Taxi fees, absolutely.
Train.
Okay, so there's a whole whack of things, and this examiner was quite nice. Said, hey, just mention 2 of them, please. Right, and that's what we've done. Let's go on. Our next question. You've been invited to a friend's birthday party at the local pizza restaurant. 18 of you are at the party, and you've been placed at 2 tables. Table A can seat 10 people, okay? And table B can seat 8 people. So table B can seat 8 people. When the pizzas are ready, 8 pizzas are brought to table A, and 6 pizzas are brought to table B. Can you see what I've done here? I'm sure you can see the color on your screen. So what I've done is everything to do with table A, I've underlined in pink, and everything to do with table B, I've underlined in yellow, so that I'm going to put the right facts together. Okay, first question. Calculate what fraction of pizza each person at table A is going to get. Okay, so at table A, we know, and we were working in pink, so let's do that. At table A, we know there are 10 people. How many pizzas were brought to table A? There were 8 pizzas. So each person is going to get 1/10 of a pizza. Or even more so, our calculator will help us and say, you know what? They're going to get fraction button 8/10, which is equal to 4/5 of a pizza. So if I were to draw this pizza, and my drawing's not very good, but just pretend, use a lot of imagination, okay? There's my pizza. I'm going to break it up into 5 parts. And hopefully my kind of 5 parts are going to be more or less 5 parts. So for every pizza that's brought, every person's going to get 4/5. That's how much of the pizza everybody is going to get. Okay? So there's going to be a little slice left over, which is going to be given to another person. Now my next question says this. Calculate what fraction of pizza each person will get at table B. Now table B, we underlined all the information in yellow, and we said that there were 8 people at table B and 6 pizzas. So we had 6 pizzas divided by 8 people. Again, out comes my calculator, and I say I've got 6 over 8 equals 3/4. In other words, now guys, if I have a pizza and I break it up into quarters, I'm going to get 3/4 of this pizza. So the one table is getting 4/5 of a pizza, and the other table is getting 3/4 of a table. Now the question arises, if you love pizza, which table would you rather be at? Table A or table B? So let's have a look at this. In table A, we said 4/5 had pizza. Table B, we said it was 3/4. Right? So table A, everyone got 4/5 of a pizza. Table B, everyone got 3/4. Which is bigger? I'm going to show you a shortcut on your calculator. Right, let's have a look at this. I've got here 4/5. So I'm going to say, right, 4/5 equals, my calculator gives me 4/5. I'm pushing S to D, so I'm going to a decimal, and that gives me 0,8. So I'm getting 0,8 of a pizza. Let's have a look what happens when we push 3/4. So now again, we're going to say, right, we've got 3/4 of a pizza equals 3/4. We're going to change it to a decimal and we get 0,75. Right. Guys, which is bigger? 0,8 or 0,75? Obviously 0,8. So if I love pizza, I'm going to make sure I'm sitting at table A. Hey? Bring on the pizza, boy. Just bring it on. And hopefully someone is at my table who's not going to finish their 4/5 of the pizza. I'm going to have some more even. Okay. Right. Next question. Your family is going to Cape Town on holiday in December this year. Your accommodation has been booked from the 16th of December to the end of the month. Calculate the following. How many days will you be staying in Cape Town? Right. I gave the same question to my boys earlier today. The first question they said was, "Oi, this is unfair. How do we know how many days there are in December? In fact, how do we know how many days are in March or in April or whatever?" So I showed them a good old trick that my grandmother taught me. And that's by using your knuckles. So I'm going to come up close to the screen until you see all my knuckles, my fist, okay? So here I go, okay, so here we are, all right? And now you can see I have a knuckle, and then there's a dent. And then a knuckle and a dent. A knuckle, a dent, a knuckle. Now guys, every single knuckle represents 31 days. The dents represent 30 days, except February. Okay, so let's look at this. January has 31. February, well, we know that as 28 or 29, depending if it's a leap year. March, 31. April, 30. May, 31. June, 30. July, 31. Now we've got to start back to the beginning, okay? August also has 31 because we're starting back on the knuckle. September 30, October 31, November 30, December is a knuckle, which is 31 days. Now that's a great trick, okay? And I remember my grand teaching me that when I was a little kid, and it's something I've always remembered. And hopefully one day you'll show your grandchildren the very same thing. Okay, so we know that there are 31 days. And we are staying from the 16th of December all the way through to the 31st of December. So it's the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Let me put my pen down. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 16 days. So we know we're staying for 16 days on holiday. Sure, I tell you what, I could do with a 16-day holiday right now. I kid you not. The next question now says this. If the accommodation costs 450 Rand per day, how much will your parents pay for the accommodation? Okay, well, our calculator is going to do that because it's so easy. We know we're staying for, what did we say? 16 days, did we? Yep, 16. Okay, let's go again. 16 days on holiday. Each day is costing me 450 Rand. Comes to a grand total of 7,200 Rand. What a lovely, lovely holiday awaits someone. But sure, that's a lot of money to pay, hey? Right, next question. Recently, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Gordon, announced that the 2012 budget. The pie chart below shows how the budget was divided up for the different departments in the government. Okay, so here we've got a pie chart, the pie chart showing us the national budget, and we've got a few questions that we're going to answer about this budget. Right, question 1 says this to us. The national budget for 2012 was 1,058,4 billion Rand. Okay, here's the first question. Which department got the biggest share of the budget? Let's have a look here. We got 16%, 4%, 9, 12, 11, 13, 15, 20%. So it looks like our government is saying, you know what, education's important in this country. We're putting 20% of our national budget towards education. Next question. Which department got the smallest share of the budget? Well, let's have a look at it. It looks like our defense got the smallest share of budget. Oh dear, I hope we don't go into war shortly, otherwise we're in trouble, eh? Okay, next one. Calculate how much money was allocated to education. All right, now folks, according to my clock, we got 40 seconds left. I cannot do this in 40 seconds. Here's the exciting news. I'm going to meet you here at this very same spot on Saturday at 1:30, and we're going to go through this question and we'll pick it up there. All right, it's been great being with you again. See you Saturday, 1:30.
How quickly did that go? That was ridiculous. Well, thank you, Mindsetters. Thank you for tuning in here at Learn Extra Live. Thank you again, Macmillan, for proudly sponsoring our fantastic, fantastic show. Mindsetters, the best thing to do is revise. Practice makes perfect. And don't forget, all you can do is knowledge is power. Don't forget. Thank you. Same time, same place. And don't forget, exam revision on Saturday. Cheers, Mindsetters.